Frank O'Connor and Dan Ayub.
How you doing?
Hey guys. And
welcome.
We're, yeah, you're the surprise,
Yes.
and then you have a little chunk of the game. We're gonna check out CAIRO Station. The first sort of main mission of Halo 2. So before I guess we'll jump into it in a minute, but I'm curious, guys. I mean, this game has been sort of heavily rumored / leaked, but it seems like the people didn't actually believe that it could be this much. That it would just be, oh, maybe it'll just be Halo 2 maps and just single players for the other games. I mean, how do you physically make this project when it's 4 games, each getting some sort of graphical treatment with all the maps? How is that even possible?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of voodoo, right, to pull all of that together. I mean, I think we were fortunate that we've got more power to work with now than we have in the past. The disk size is obviously bigger as well. So that certainly helped us quite a bit. A big thing of what was actually crucial for us to bring the experience together was actually that unified interface that we talked about this morning.
Yes.
So rather than having 4 individual disks, we do have one global UI that lets us stitch a bunch of things, basically stitch the whole experience together.
Yeah,
so,
and what I thought was interesting when you showed the game to me recently was there's of course regular matchmaking like we come to expect in Halo, but there's map voting, but you vote, it'll just give you choices from maybe 3 different Halo games. You might get Wizard from Halo 1, or a choice of Lockout from Halo 2 and the Pit from Halo 3, and then whichever one everybody votes on, it launches that game and that engine, and you go play that.
That's very cool.
How? How is that? How? I don't understand.
a big challenge we had when we said, okay, yeah, we're going to do this, was that we had over 100 multiplayer maps. So it quickly becomes a question of how the heck do we curate this? Like, how do we make this a reasonable experience? So we pivoted on game types primarily, so just exactly as you described. So effectively what happens when you go in, say you choose Slayer, and you've got your 3 choices are a map from 1, a map from 2, a map from 3. We'll put a little logo in the corner so you know that which map that this is from, and effectively whichever one wins, you and everybody who's playing, we will launch that multiplayer engine on your machine off of the disk, and everyone just goes right into it.
And it's good to reiterate, this will be the first time, I mean, Halo PC aside, I had some tweets about that, but this is Halo 1 multiplayer in its original form, meaning 3-shot death pistol, the original Blood
I saw
Gulch,
your tweet about that.
everything on dedicated servers. I mean, how, in the playtest so far, is it feeling like a LAN environment? Is it feeling like Halo 1, feeling good?
I mean, yeah, it absolutely feels awesome. I mean, what I always personally enjoyed about LAN parties is just, that you've got everyone there in the same room and they're going off and things like that. And our play tests obviously take place all in the same room, so it certainly feels like that. But the games do play exactly as you remember them playing. What's been fabulous for us about all of these play tests we're doing is just people start sharing their memories, everyone's screaming and hollering at each other. Yeah, I mean, it's epic fun.
Yeah,
so,
just to clarify, it also supports custom games, and I think that already online I'm reading this morning, people are worried about how is the population going to be split, and it's true that democracy is going to drive sometimes people to choose something that you in particular don't want.
Right.
But I think the combination of sort of taking care of that matchmaking playlist appropriately and taking really good care of it frequently will help. But also custom games are going to be supported, and I think custom games plus Xbox One social features are actually going to make it much easier to find servers, as it were, that are more to your taste. It's just a much more self-organizing ecosystem than we've had in the past.
So for the custom games, I mean, I went crazy with Halo 2. I made a Blood Gulch, a coagulation variant called Covey Gulch, where I replaced all the vehicles with all Covenant vehicles, including the Spectre, the long forgotten Covenant equivalent of the Warthog. So all of that is still in there?
Yeah, everything is there verbatim, and and obviously, like, there's so much content. I've spent all morning just explaining the bits of it. So you have all of Halo 2's campaign and multiplayer as it was exactly, except it's running at higher fidelity now. Yeah. But you also have the 6 maps that we kind of remade in this, I'd say, newish engine. It's kind of a combination of bits of Halo over the years, but it feels sort of like a modern take on Halo 2, very specifically.
How about Halo 2 specifically? That's sort of that was the killer app for Xbox Live. I don't think anybody would argue about that. Halo 2 had a very I found compelling ranking system that was dropped for future Halo games, where you could lose level. You know, you could level up, and then if you lost, you went on a losing streak, you would drop in levels. So how are we handling, since we've got the unified interface for this, how are we handling that side of the game?
So we're going to be talking more about how we're handling the ranking very, very soon. What I will leave you with a bit of a tease is, based on what you just told me, I think you're going to be very happy with our ranking system.
I like that.
I think we have the game loaded up now, ready to jump into it if we want to do that.
Excellent. So CAIRO Station Halo 2 campaign. This will be the...
I believe.
There it is.
There he is.
Please give me the controller right now.
This level's really, really, really fun on Legendary. It's not too
I
hard
believe
at all. There's plenty of grenades.
And what you're going to see, if I think we'll have screenshots on IGN now, or if not now, very soon. You guys had Blur, one of the really well-regarded cinematic studio, redo all of the Halo 2 cinematics. So awesome. Sergeant Johnson went from, he hasn't aged well as far as the 2004 engine, to now he looks basically picture the Halo 4 cutscenes, but better, effectively, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, it was fantastic. I mean, Halo 2, really, I mean, there's over like 60 minutes of cinematics, and Blur's redoing all of them. And what's fun is the cinematics also work with that back feature, so you can swap instantly between the new cinematics to the old ones while you're watching it. But the other thing we did with Blur, which is really interesting, is that we've created an intro and an outro, if you will, that's going to kind of start to tease to what we're doing with the next Halo in terms of storyline and things like that. That was a big thing that people enjoyed in the first anniversary with the terminals in particular, was we started teasing some of the Halo 4 storyline. So we're going to be doing a lot of that in this game as well.
You guys have terminals and skulls in Halo 2 now,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like there's Halo 2 anniversary, we'll get into it.
Yeah, and as you can see, I mean, you can swap through these chapters really easily. You can select whatever it is that you want to play. And you can see over there at the top as well the notion of playlists. So the other thing that's a ton of fun about having everything unlocked are just we're going to have these customized playlists taking moments from all of the games and putting those together.
So if I want to do all the Warthog missions from all 4 Halo games right in a row with 2 to 4 friends, I can do that?
You can just go right in it. We're going to have a bunch of different ones. My personal favorite is just literally the grind from like the first mission of the first Halo to the last mission of Halo 4.
There better be an achievement for that. Reveal that right now.
We'll have a little something for the people who do that. That's... I don't think we want to leave that one
That's like the endless set list in Rock Band. That's basically the Halo equivalent of that. So every mission in every game is unlocked from the get-go, right? There's no need to, I don't have to play through all 4 games again. It's just all right here.
Yep, completely unlocked. I mean, you absolutely can play through, each of them entirely if you want. But you can hop through if you want to skip a mission. You don't want to play the library. You want to, pop past that. You can absolutely. Frank always gives me the look when I say that.
I gotta ask, guys, so Halo 2 is getting the anniversary treatment, but what about? I mean, Halo 3 is kind of caught in the middle, right? It's 2007, early generation 360 game. What's being done from the visual side on Halo 3, if anything at all?
That's a great question. Halo 3 and Halo 4, they kind of don't need it as much. Yeah. Obviously, they were pretty good-looking games on the last generation system. They both really benefit though from going to 1080p, 60 frames a second, and some of the changes isn't necessarily just in resolution or sort of overall fidelity. Some of the things that we did, especially in Halo 4, there's some detail and data in the graphics that is just showing up now in a way that it wouldn't before. And you can think of it kind of like a Blu-ray remaster in some ways. Right. And some of that's just a sort of natural evolution of just bumping onto that bigger GPU with more RAM and so on. Yeah. But they both look pretty modern. Halo 4 in particular, and I would say this, of course, but it kind of looks almost like a next-gen game. Just running it.
Well, it was already almost so it was crazy how good that game looked on 360.
It looks better on Xbox
like Gulch,
One.
hang 'em high.
There we go.
Jump into that one. So we're seeing poking around the interface here.
Yeah, I think they're scrolling around the interface.
So it's also, there's a key detail. So Frank, you mentioned the 6 reimagined Halo 2 multiplayer maps that are being done in an Xbox One engine. That's that's in addition to, they're all there in their original classic
Absolutely.
form. This is in addition to, and Max Hoberman, the
original
Halo 2 multiplayer
designer,
lead,
yeah.
who started Certain Affinity and has done a lot of Halo multiplayer maps for you guys. He designed those, right? These new ones?
Yeah, I mean, really, if you want to really think about it, you could say there are 5 multiplayer maps in this, right? You've got the original one, modes, thank you. The original one, the original
What
2.
happened to 100?
Oh my God. The original 1, 2, 3, 4, and also this newer one that we've done for these new 6 reimagined maps. It was really interesting with Max, as we said, he was the original designer on these things. When we started working on this and I called him up, he was all in. He was just really excited to be able to do it. Then we sat down with him and just started talking, like, what are things you wanted to do that you couldn't necessarily get done, either for time, either for technology, things like that. And as you look at these maps today, how would you like to envision these? So it was just a fabulous process working through with Max and the rest of the team over there in bringing these maps to life. And we showed you guys Ascension today, and we'll be rolling out some of the other maps as we get closer to launch.
And let's touch on, so Halo 1, of course we talked about the multiplayer. The campaign, it is the anniversary edition of the Halo 1 campaign. So with that one, it sounds like it's not being given maybe the full Halo 2 style treatment where it's built for Xbox One, but it is the switch back and forth between classic and the sort of modern, the refreshed look we saw a few years ago.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's the same one we launched at, here we go.
We're in the CAIRO station, 1080p, 60 frames. So you know what? I wanted to ask you guys this. I believe you had confirmed this for me earlier. 2-player online co-op for the first time in the Halo campaign, correct? Halo 2 campaign?
That's right. Yeah, we're going to have that for in particular for 2, 3, and 4.
Yep.
We're going to have those across the board on those, which is going to be a tremendous amount of fun. Similar for Forge as well. You're going to be able to Forge on 2, 3, and 4.
Awesome. Forge on 2?
That's correct.
How is that possible?
That's more the magic. Yeah, I know. I saw some speculation just before we got here, actually, like people wondering if we were doing Forge for those or not. And yeah, we absolutely are.
Yeah, when I met with you guys just a few weeks ago, you hadn't confirmed it, and I put it in my. I have a big preview piece that breaks down everything on IGN right now. I need to actually go in and update that with some good news.
I want to keep you going. Yeah, no, so absolutely. So when we spoke, what was it, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah,
something like that. We were close to locking it, but we weren't 100%. And between now and then, that has locked and confirmed.
So, Dan and Frank, I want to have you talk us through here what's going on.
Well, you're coming up to
about the visual fidelity and exactly what's going on under the hood here.
Caveat the whole thing. This is obviously work in progress.
Sure.
This is going to get better and better as we keep working through it. And there's definitely with this kind of development, there's a lot of layering that goes in, even more so than building a game from scratch.
Yeah.
And but we're pretty happy with
it
this.
is.
Yeah, and it's funny. Sometimes the change is really jarring and frightening, but sometimes it's kind of testament to how well built the game environment was in the first place. And we saw that with the original Anniversary. But yeah, and the other thing is the switch is instant now. Previously there was a little bit of lag as you switch between the memory and screen buffers, and now that switch is 100% instant. You can do it in the middle of a firefight and survive.
So are these Elite and Grunt models built off? Are these the Halo 4 ones? Are these all new models that have been done for the enemies?
So we grabbed from a number of different games actually to pull them together for this. As you can see, there's a pretty stark difference even between the characters here as you're swapping back and forth. So really there's no one answer to that. We grabbed across the board and made modifications on a case by case. But yeah, you can really tell that swap. One of the things we wanted to do, people really enjoyed that swap so much, and we wanted to evolve that as well for Xbox One. As Frank alluded to, there was that fade in, fade out on the first one, and we've just got obviously more power to work with now. So a big thing was just to make that swap instantaneous.
Frank, this is something in particular that I've talked to you about before. I'm curious, with the Halo 2 anniversary in particular, was there ever any consideration or investigation done into the infamous E3 2003 single-player demo? The game, that mission that never made the game.
We talked about
making that playable for this.
Yeah, we talked about it. I think the problem is that in a very real sense, it's a completely different engine than all of the other ones. So you'd have to bubble off this segment of the engine, the content, and Joe is, I believe, at the show. He'll speak to this as well. The content is all real and it all functions. Yeah, it all functions. The problem is if you deviate from the safe sort of bug tested areas in any way, it immediately instantly crashes. And we looked at it, and it was just the experience itself. You may as well enjoy the video of Joe doing it. For one thing, he's more charismatic than I am. And for another, like he's playing the safe parts of it. If you deviate from that, you crash the game.
Well, it's hard to argue about one little omission when there's all that stuff on one disc for $60.
Yeah. We actually have a few minutes before our next game demo. So Ryan, lightning round. Any last minute questions you want to ask?
You want to reveal any of the other 5 Xbox One-ified Halo 2 maps while we're sitting here?
I absolutely do in a couple of months. No, I mean,
when are we going to hear about what those other 5 are? I mean, I've got some guesses.
They're pretty safe bets that they're favorites. I mean, the problem is when you guarantee that it'll be all your favorite maps, there's always some weirdo out there whose favorite map was everyone else's
generally
least
it's
favorite
Frank
map.
at the studio.
It's usually me. Yeah. And but yeah, we'll roll those out as the months go on.
I mean, what else can we ask, Damon? I mean, there's
Beta, Halo Nightfall.
it's all all in there.
What are people going to be able to experience in the beta?
The beta will be a curated slice of arena sort of competitive multiplayer, quite a sort of specific multiplayer experience, and it will be a small taste of the overall multiplayer experience. The good news is we're doing it early enough now so that the feedback that we get from the community on everything from netcode to weapon performance and movement speed and all that stuff, we'll have time to actually digest it and do something with it. I think sometimes it takes so long to build a beta that even if you do it with the best of intentions, you don't necessarily get enough time to incorporate all the good feedback, and this time we will.
If you find that when Master Chief Collection comes out that people are going nuts for Halo 2 and it is just you're seeing a ridiculous spike in the Halo 2 numbers, will you guys look at that and make decisions about Halo 5's multiplayer based on that?
We're going to support that game, the Halo Master Chief Collection, properly. So we'll get full support in terms of matchmaking and so on. And certainly there will be lessons that we can learn from that. But the purpose, really the main learning tool that we're putting in there, we know how people feel about Halo 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's not a lot of new information from that, and we've definitely learned some lessons from building Halo 4. But the Halo 5 beta is the tool we're really going to use to get feedback from players about what works and what makes them tick.
We actually have a Twitter question from one of our viewers. McJobless, sorry to hear about that. Why isn't the Master Chief Collection coming to PC? When can PC gamers finish the fight?
We're concentrating on the Xbox One version right now. That's not to say that the PC version's impossible, but it's not currently in the plan. So,
fair enough.
But as you know, Microsoft is taking PC pretty seriously as a gaming platform.
The Master Chief Collection was unveiled officially at the Microsoft press conference earlier today. How do you guys feel when you're standing by watching? Do you stand by with pride, or do you a little like
you're naked terror because you're up there, right? With the controller.
No, I mean it was fabulous, right? I mean we've been working on this for a long time. And you guys may have noticed we had a few leaks leading up to the press conference. What was fascinating for myself and the development team is, first of all, the excitement, right? There's that unintentional validation of what you're doing. And people are like, oh, wow, if they are doing this, this is awesome. Yeah. It was also great to see the speculation of stuff that it would be great if they did this, but they'd never do that. And, things like all of the individual multiplayer engines and things like that. And then to Frank's point, then there's the naked terror of actually getting up there as you unveil your child and hope nobody thinks it's horrific.
It doesn't crash.
So no, it was really rewarding. We obviously felt fabulous about what it was we were doing. This was absolutely a labor of love for us. I mean, going back to your question at the beginning, how do you do this? I mean, these were features and things driven by the team out of love for Halo, and I think people really picked up on that.
Quickly, what's each of your guys' favorite Halo multiplayer map of all 4? We've got over 100 and
Beaver Creek.
Beaver Creek. Frank?
Mine's
definitely Lockout, but we were talking earlier. I think Colossus doesn't get enough love. I like
Great
Colossus for
oddball
oddball, yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's got its place in Team Slayer.
For sure. I actually like Blood Gulch.
Can't go wrong.
That is
You're blocking the teleporters with the vehicles.
We do have another Twitter question lined up here. Darren asks, will there be Halo 2 Anniversary sold separately on its own, like Halo 1 Anniversary?
$59.99. Well, come on. If you don't want the other games, just ignore them.
Yeah.
And it's still a good deal, I think. No, there's no plans to separate them right now. As Dan said, putting a unified interface in this was almost as much work as the rest of it. We, as a studio, wanted people to have the whole Master Chief story so that they could seamlessly go from 1 through to Halo 5 Guardians and have this complete sort of epic tale that is being spun over the more than a decade now.
BXR, Super Jump, all going to work because the code's untouched, right?
The glitches that worked when the game was kind of retired will still work. I would say that something like Super Bounce is weird because that's a kind of a havoc bug in Halo 2. And it's tied directly to the geometry. So when you re-render the geometry, and it's going to be 16:9, 1080p, pixels move, right?
True.
And so some of the things that you might have gotten really good at that were really hyper-pixel specific might not work. But basically, this was one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't scenarios. And ultimately, we felt the weight of people who were used to a certain experience by the time the game sort of faded into glory. So that's the experience that we're shipping, and it will ship as verbatim as the screen space allows.
No standby cheat, though, thanks to dedicated servers, right?
I'm sure someone will figure out some other BS, but yes, correct.
I think there is another Twitter question lined up. Jake Sarmiento, will Master Chief Collection contain local play still?
Split screen, how about System Link, too? Split screen System Link, guys.
The split screen is supported, correct? System Link is in the plan. We'll have more to say about that later. But System Link is tricky even at the best of times.
Interesting.
So, but the plan currently is to make everything work the way you'd expect.
You guys are here at E3, obviously showing off your game. Is there another game at E3 you guys are excited about seeing?
Most of the stuff I've seen or been exposed to is Sunset Overdrive. I think Last Guardian's definitely coming out, right? That's
yes.
Too soon. But the
wow.
I actually like being surprised. So it's not so much about the ones that we already do know about. It's about the things that you didn't expect. So Crackdown, obviously, I'm a Crackdown fan.
Yes.
But I'm interested to see what the other guys have. Really interested to see what Nintendo does this year. I think Miyamoto is announcing some of his stuff tomorrow. And that's always going to be a joy. So, fingers crossed. I think we had a good show. It was all games, and now the other guys get to have their turn.
Yeah, I'm eager to see what else comes up. I don't know. Ori made me sad.
Oh yeah.
Today.
But in a good way, right?
In a good way.
So good.
It looked beautiful. I love what they're going for. I can't wait to check that out. And yeah, I'm hoping to see a couple of surprises this year.
This is our last Twitter question we've got lined up here. Timo asks, will DLC maps such as Citadel from Halo 3 be available in Anniversary?
So basically, if the map ever shipped on Halo 1, 2, 3, or 4, it will be in the game. It is quite literally every map ever shipped ever
with
on
one
1,
exception,
2, 3, and 4.
which is the extra PC maps.
Which is the extra PC?
So there's a couple of maps that only appeared in the PC version.
Infinity.
Into this. So.
Master Chief Collection seems like an awesome package.
Yes.
Halo fans are going to go nuts over it. It's out November 11th this year.
I'm already going nuts, Damon.
I know, right? No, you
trying to contain it.
I'm still waiting for you to jump on the table.
Just let it out. Just go.
Thank you so much for bringing the game by today.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot, guys.
We're going to take a quick break, then we're going to have a demo of a demo of The Evil Within for you to. They both start with EV. It's very similar. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.